So with that, let's move on to it segues into megatrends number four, which is basically visual intelligence, not video surveillance. And what are your thoughts on this megatrend on visual intelligence?
Well, I found some interesting, there were some interesting points that this Megatrends report put out, and that was there's roughly around 90 million cameras installed globally right now, which is a lot of cameras. But very few are using AI,
Yep.
and if they do, they're doing it either on the ingest or at the edge itself, right? And few are doing a lot of real AI though at that edge. But practitioners today are looking at these and looking at video surveillance investments as tools. They can get visual oversights of their operations, and they'll be looking to leverage their video for other types of outcomes, whether that might be things like personal experience, might be operational efficiencies, some type of sustainability,
Yep.
some revenue generation. So there's a lot of other areas where this video could be useful to an organization. All right. And this is kind of inherent to the, like you said, there's a red thread that weaves all of these together. And this
Mhm.
is really where we're looking, at the undervaluation of securities. Are we leveraging our cameras for a lot of these outcomes today? Are we
Yep.
selling these cameras as that becoming that everything tool that customers are looking to use them for, right? Or are we just looking at it as a security camera, right? If we're just looking at it as a security camera, well, then we're creating that under evaluation
Exactly.
of the industry ourselves, right? And AI is definitely going to transform things, not just at the edge or not just on the ingest as the security
Mhm.
industry likes to use today, but customers are looking to do deep search of recorded content,
Yep.
right? They'd like to be able to go back, run a query against a set of data, and have these results come back. And that's not your standard type of AI model that we
No.
use in the security industry. This is kind of outside that security application. So how do we enable our customers and provide them that data set when we put in these systems so they can leverage it against some of these query engines that are out there?
Yep.
So, video technology itself from operational ownership isn't going to be strictly a security thing. It's going to become enterprise data at the end of the day, right? And that's why we're seeing all the IT folks show up at the table, making sure they got the proper
Yep.
infrastructure in place. We're starting to see data scientists show up at the meetings asking about the data set, the volume, how can I leverage it? Is there metadata on it? Can I tag metadata to it?
Mhm.
And looking for things like that. So we're seeing new players come out in order to extract that value out of the video. So when we talk about visual intelligence, not video surveillance, is really just opening that up to enterprise data, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, and it goes along to your point about a new level of expertise coming into our industry because in those meetings that I have with customers that are already mature in their journey on understanding the value of the data from the video side, because really that video data is very unstructured. There is some structure to that with a lot of organizations like the one that I work with where we're providing metadata, and I think that's huge. Providing more context around the images along with the images is going to help. But yeah, these data scientists or data engineers, they're commonplace in a lot of organizations because they're already doing things for like finance and ops, right? To look at trends, look at sales figures, look at logistics, look at things that they need to buy in order to sustain their business, right? So I think those already, I think a lot of security practitioners don't understand is that a lot of those expertise already exists in different other business units within the same end customer that they're servicing on the security side. And if there's a way for them to kind of bridge that and let them understand that, hey, we also have very valuable data here that I think your team would be happy to look at and to look at see what can they use to solve. And it goes back to kind of like what we're talking about, how with the pandemic coming out of it, everybody was looking for just traffic flow. Something as simple as traffic flow and density and hotspot is still very valuable, right? Outside of just physical security and safety for an organization to understand, well, is my design of my facility correct? Is there bottlenecks? Are there choke points that can cause issues that are non-security related, right? So I think
Mm-hmm.
that is where a lot of things are happening. And from my perspective, coming from the vendor side, I know in the past you've always seen vendors like ourselves bring out like these solutions on analytics, and I think that's going to shift because now that the AI architecture and the models are really good at detecting people and vehicles and all these other objects that the customers are wanting to do, the logic that you're saying, the querying and creating this insightful information, that's on the data engineers and the data scientist side. They're already doing it with BI platforms and dashboards and other things that are showing those insightful information. I think the VMSs are trying to get on board to also show that too, because I think they're realizing that's very, very valuable data that not only helps security but helps other within the own organization too. Yeah.
Yeah, when we look at the AI, like kind of like AI factory or infrastructure being put in place and how
Yeah.
these query engines query data, it typically works off file and object
Yeah.
storage, right? And when we look at what we do in the security industry ourselves here, is we take all this video that we collect and we put it in block storage,
We
which
do.
really doesn't conform with, how they're trying to query this data.
Yeah.
And that's really, we do need to make sure we put our best foot forward and future-proof these systems for customers. If they plan on storing petabytes of video data for a year or two in order to reference it,
Yeah.
we need to make sure we put the proper data volumes in place, and maybe shifting from that block into more like a file or object store for them.
No, no, exactly. And that's where I think the IT industry, we can definitely take a lead on that, where they have sound structures on how to query that data very quickly and very efficiently. And I think we need to follow suit, because I think
Yeah.
it's to that point where we don't need to store blocks of videos like the way it used to be. I think we can be more efficient in doing so. And for the ones that do need to record 24/7 and hold a longer retention, it'll be more efficient for them too as well. And when they
Yeah,
switch to that architecture. So definitely agree on
definitely.
that. And yeah, I think we are definitely headed towards more intelligence and more insights with not just the VMSs, with all the platforms kind of converging together. So perfect with that.